Hey, Buck Bros, welcome back. And you are here for our preview of week 2, a nail biter against the Falcons, but we come out on top 1-0. Now we look forward to Monday night as we go into Houston to face the Texans. They come off of a hard-fought loss, 14-9 against the Rams, but they seem like a playoff team, and it's going to be a nail biter. Last time we faced them, it was also a nail biter. So what do you Buck Bros, Bryce, John, and Zach, what do you guys think is going to be key for us heading into Houston? What do you want to see us clean up? How do you think the game's going to progress? How do the Bucs scratch out a win against Houston on Monday night?
Hey, broadcasters. Yeah, week 1, usually there's a lot of sloppy play across the league. I think that's kind of what I saw is even in that Texans game, right? It was 14-9. Offenses just aren't clicking quite yet. Defense is usually ahead of the offense. So, on our side of the ball, I think there was a lot left to be desired after the Atlanta game. Baker Mayfield looked a little shaky to start the game. I'm hoping he can kind of continue that, his second half was a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. We need him to kind of be who he was last year. We want this offense to go anywhere. I'd like to see Amika, step up again. Maybe Mike get a little bit more targets. On the defensive side of the ball, got to keep getting pressure, especially on C.J. Stroud. He struggles a little bit when there is pressure against him. It's going to be a tough game for sure. Houston's got a very, very strong defense. Definitely a very aggressive front seven. And with our offensive line kind of reshuffled right before the game, it's going to be a tough challenge for them to protect Baker and make sure he has the time to hit Mike and Amika and whoever we've got out there, and open some running lanes for Bucky or Rashad to move the ball downfield. So, yeah, last time we played Houston, it was defense was optional. I think Baker had a drive to what we thought was going to be a game-winning touchdown, but then Houston drove right down the field and scored with like 15 seconds left. Hopefully that doesn't repeat itself. I think it'll be a little bit lower scoring game. And most certainly I'm hoping we can get the primetime boss monkey off our back and finally win a primetime game here to start 2025.
One of the things I'd like to see Sterling Shepard get more involved this week. He was definitely a bright spot on the team this on Sunday, and we really need to do a better job of establishing the run. If that's really what we were going into the season expecting, I think that'll clear up a lot of the issues we're having in the passing game as well. And we need to figure out why receivers are not on the same page with Baker Mayfield. There were some clear issues with receivers missing routes or running the wrong routes that resulted in us missing some clear opportunities to score. And I think that's really going to fall on those receivers, Cameron Brate, Mike Evans, these guys who are clearly running the wrong routes.
Yeah, we got to a slow start, so I'm hoping, if nothing else, we come out firing on both sides of the ball quickly. The ground game is what it is. Baker was a leading rusher last week, so hopefully this week we can get some rushing yards with our running backs. That would be refreshing. Also, secondary needs to hit the drug machine. If I have to watch another drop pick, I'm going to be real pissed. But Houston, I watched a lot of the game on Red Zone because 4:00 game, so there wasn't a lot else on, and they only had like 60 some odd yards of offense in the second half. They completely stalled out in the second half of that game. And if I have to stay up late for a Bucs game and it's another loss, it's also going to have me pissed off. So I'd like to see a primetime win, like Bryce said.
It is a 7:00 start, so you'll get to bed a little bit earlier than you normally would on a night, which is nice. But yeah, please, we always begged for these primetime games when we were terrible and we get like 1 or 2 a season. Now we're getting 4 or 5. I don't want to lose another one of these primetime games. Like, come on, let's go. Get it up. Get that monkey off our back. The one, kind of silver lining I've got is that Todd Bowles has started the season 2-0 like the last 3 seasons. So you got that going for you. So maybe that will help as well.
Yeah, I think getting off to that quick start that we've said will really help us settle in. You could definitely see that the team, both on defense and offense last week, wasn't ready, wasn't prepared for how much energy was going to be brought out. I'd like to see linebackers make a little bit more tackles this this game than last game. Servastier Dennis had a really rough first 3 quarters.
I was just going to say, I personally think that it's going to be a hard-fought game because their defense is very strong. I think that's going to be the case throughout the season. You're going to have to win kind of a low-scoring game.
Okay.
And to your point, Ryan, like, turnovers are going to be a thing. Baker probably could have had like 2 or 3 interceptions that Atlanta didn't catch either. So we had sloppy play as well, but we came out with the win. They played sloppy. They came out with an L. They're going to be hungry to get in the win column. We can't let them kind of, we got to match that energy. So it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So I'll just go ahead and give my.
With that, would you like to present a prediction for us, and we'll go around the horn?
Sure. Yeah, I'll start. I think the Bucs are going to win this one, 21-17.
21-17. All right, let's go counterclockwise here, Zach, on my screen, counterclockwise.
Likewise, their defense is good, and I think low as well. Because even though they looked sloppy and they lost their game, they did not give up a ton of points themselves against Rams team that likes to sling the ball around. So I'll say 20-17.
Field goal win. All right, Mr. Ronald Jones.
I am going to go ahead and take the Bucs 31-24.
All right, a little bit higher score. Got some diversity in our scores. I tend to think the same. D'Amico Ryans is very defensive-minded. Obviously, Todd Bowles is as well. And like we've stated, offense is still kind of getting their feet under them. I've got 24-20 with Chase making the field goal or the extra point this time, 24-20. All right, let's move on to our fantasy picks of the week. We still don't know what our scores are for this week because I have Justin Jefferson playing right now as we record this. So we will update you, Buck Bros, on our socials to make sure that you guys are aware of the standings, but doesn't mean we can't pick for week 2. If I'm reading this right, Bryce, you're going to start our Bucs picks for this week.
I am. I think I got a pretty good pick last week with Amika. So that was a strong start for the Buck side of things. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and pick Baker Mayfield.
Easy money. Bucky Irving.
Hoping Zach's run game comes true there. All right. Well, I will go with the offensive star of week 1, Emeka Egbuka. Seems to be a safety blanket already for Baker.
Okay. I'm going to do a little curveball. I think we're going to be in a lot of third downs, and I think this player was in a lot of them, and when he did run the ball, he actually ran well. He just didn't get a lot of touches. So I'm going to take Rashad White.
Over Mike?
I said what I said.
Bold.
Rashad White, first
bold
pick.
Strategy, Cotton.
Yeah. He had one play where he could have broken it for a touchdown. Just made it. Somebody just tackled him.
Yeah, he's in like every third down set. So the touches will be there, and aggressive defense. Maybe he slips that tackle. It's a big gash. I don't know. But I like the pick. That's why I made it.
Hey, you get to be up again and pick for the NFL player of the week.
Okay. For that, I will have to look at the screen. Let's go with Lamar Jackson.
I was wondering why he was off my screen. I was like, why is he not available? I will be next, I believe. So I'm going to go from the other star of that game, crazy Sunday night game, and go with Josh Allen, which brings us back to Mr. Jones.
Who's quarterbacking for the Browns?
Joe Flacco.
Is that Joe Flacco? Give me Joe Flacco.
Bold pick.
All right,
Todd
Brace.
White and Joe Flacco. Man.
We say bold pick, but John picked the highest point scorer when he picked Aaron
I saw
Rodgers.
that. Oh, yeah. I'll give him that. 4 tutties. Hell of a start for Rodgers.
Notwithstanding what Jefferson does tonight.
All right. Let's see. Looking at the schedule for next week, I am going to go with Christian McCaffrey.
All right, those are your Buck Bros fantasy picks of the week. Like I said, the standings will be updated on our socials. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and newly on TikTok. We'll have that post on Instagram as well if you want to follow there along with us. All right, Buck Bros, that's going to be it for our game preview. We hope you stick with us through all season long. We're getting ready for Monday night over here, and we can't wait for another W. 2-0, baby, under Todd Bowles. It seems to happen every year, so let's keep that gravy train going. Let's go, Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucks. Bucks plus 2.5. Road Dogs.